Welcome, my elegant fellowship. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey with me. This podcast is all about exploring the timeless principles of elegant personal development. And I am Fernanda, your elegant host, guiding you through it all on the Elegantia Linea podcast. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. I'm not a psychologist or a certified coach. What I am is a mentor, someone passionate about helping you explore and harness the power of your autonomy through self-awareness. The truth is that personal development isn't always linear. In fact, it's often messy and unpredictable. That's why I'm here, to help you bring structure to the chaos so you don't feel overwhelmed by the uncertainty. My mission is to help you construct a life that feels purposeful and fulfilling, giving you clarity, direction, and the tools to unlock your full potential. My expertise in process improvement has given me practical, actionable tools that I've adapted to personal development, and we're going to be using these along the way. Combined with my own initiative with studying psychology for fun and my own experience in therapy, I've cultivated a strong sense of self. No matter what life throws my way, I now know I can navigate it with elegance and resilience, and I want to help you feel the same. Supporting others in this way inspires me and connects me to my own purpose, which is why I'm excited to embark on this journey with you. The title of today's episode is Elegance in Alignment: From Building a Purposeful Life to an Unstoppable Legacy. Let's dive into the heart of this episode by first exploring the name of the podcast. Elegantia in Linea translates to elegance in alignment, reflecting my belief that elegance is not just about appearances, but about becoming the best version of yourself. I chose to express this idea in Latin because it symbolizes a strong foundation rooted in history. It also connects to my heritage because my native language is Portuguese, even though you may notice my very Americanized English accent. Now, a little about me. I'm Brazilian and I've been living in the Czech Republic for over 7 years now, with the last 3 years spent in Prague. My journey toward achieving self-awareness, though, began even before that, over 15 years ago, with 8 of those years spent in therapy. But the reality is that I didn't always know that was my goal. In fact, a lot of what I was doing was barely existing. I faced mental illnesses early on in my teenage years, but only had a proper diagnosis after my first burnout at the age of 19, which was fairly early if you think about it. I lived through truly traumatic situations, one after the other, for several years. I used to joke, perhaps a little morbidly, that I was collecting traumas to call my own. It may sound dramatic, but that was how I felt at the time. Life seemed like a relentless series of challenges. And even after I began treatment with a combination of psychological and psychiatric support, it took me years to work through and overcome the severe internal struggles I was facing. I used to say I made gold out of my tragedies, but now I see I created diamonds, resilient, refined, and uniquely my own. Those were not easy victories, but the process really shaped me. I have reinvented myself time and again through struggles, mistakes, triumphs, and every mess in between. And right now, as I'm recording this episode, I'm sitting in my room, unemployed, weeks after finally bringing a passion project to life on a random Friday night. On the surface, this might seem like a low point, but I chose to see it as a transformative moment. Which is why I wrote this little piece and posted on my LinkedIn a few weeks ago. It goes like this. An origin story in fiction is that discernible moment in the character's arc that alters their life and identity. It is that pivotal episode that absolutely changes everything, leading them to eventually become the main character of the series, be that a superhero or a villain. We don't always know when our origin story starts, and we might think that we have several moments like this in life. But the truth is, there is one single canonical moment in our storyline that drives us to our maximum or minimum capacity, depending on your perception of a given situation, optimistic or otherwise. This situation is particular and unique because it is the culmination of life as we know it. It is the make it or break it insight, the realization that the current state is unsustainable. It is when, in all our fury or misery, we call it enough. And then grit builds up in us, and a huge transformation is in the works. Most successful public figures, be they business owners, politicians, or celebrities, are known to have an incredible and inspirational origin story. That moment when they decided to go big or go home, to immerse themselves strategically in creating something innovative and daring. However, we only recognize having gone through that once the disruption is done and lasting success is achieved. I believe, on the other hand, that self-awareness and strong self-confidence can make us realize our origin story while we live it. Isn't it powerful to know we are the main writers of our own storyline? We have a world of chances to live up to our potential. Nevertheless, it is paramount to know who you are and where you are going. Strategize your plan and action, never looking back at the road not taken. The rest will be exemplary history of those who dared. This moment right here is mine. Someday I'll look back to confirm what I did to build a more meaningful life for myself, answering my calling to lead and inspire people globally. Do you have an origin story? Or do you need a push to create one? You see, rather than succumbing to self-doubt or despair, I've chosen to lean into my purpose, taking action to help others do the same. And this choice to align with my purpose has been a guiding principle in my life. It's also why I'm here speaking to you today. It's not about reaching a finish line, but about embracing the journey. I've reinvented myself more times than I can count, and I've learned that hardships will always exist. However, I can choose to navigate them with grace or fall into the same pitfalls repeatedly, failing to learn from the past. In the end, what truly matters is our dedication to becoming the person we aspire to be, no matter the roadblocks. Whether they appear as self-doubt, or illnesses, unexpected challenges, or life's natural ups and downs. The most important lesson I've learned is that self-awareness and a refined perspective are the foundation of real transformation. By cultivating self-awareness, we gain clarity about our values, strengths, and areas for growth. It allows us to make intentional choices, build healthier relationships, and align our actions with our true selves. Self-awareness also helps us recognize triggers and patterns so we can respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. It's like having a compass in times of uncertainty, guiding us toward growth and reminding us that challenges often lead to our most profound transformations. It all comes from within. To me, true success is about living with purpose and cultivating meaningful connections. And right here, right now, I feel like my most successful self. The emotional support, love, and care I've received from the people in my life have been nothing short of remarkable. It's the kind of experience that truly warms my heart. But this didn't really happen by chance. It's the result of years spent planting seeds, nurturing relationships, and showing love, kindness, and support to others. I have friendships of over 20 years, and even my most recent connections were so thoughtfully built that I never doubt their ability to endure, for however long they need to. My family has also been incredibly supportive, and I've never felt so loved. And I know it can be hard to imagine this kind of fulfillment if it feels out of reach, if it's not something you've ever experienced before, or that you no longer have. But let me assure you, it is always possible to find it. It wasn't always like this for me either. Now, if your idea of success centers solely around financial achievements, this is not the podcast for you. I'm not here to teach you how to become a millionaire or share 5 hacks to create your own 7-figure business. I mean, don't get me wrong, financial goals are absolutely important. They provide us with a sense of freedom and peace of mind, and they are part of my own aspirations. But financial success is a goal, not a purpose. Now, I feel more prepared mentally to achieve it because I know exactly who I am and I fully understand my values and capabilities. If you don't have that, it is very unlikely that you will maintain any financial gains long term, or that you will be fulfilled by the time you have reached the markers you've envisioned for yourself. I have to be honest though, I don't want to paint this picture that everything is perfect. It's not always beautiful down this road. Life's journey is never perfectly paved. There is room to fall apart, to feel emotional, to embrace imperfection, especially when our intentions feel blurry and our sense of autonomy is non-existent. For instance, emotional support is essential and beneficial, but it cannot become a crutch. You can learn to validate your emotions without allowing them to spiral into self-pity. Sometimes it's hard to tell these apart. Life doesn't stop for us to untangle the chaos. At times, our judgment is clouded and we struggle to find the silver lining. And that's okay. This is when you need to reach out for help, even if you stumble and cannot find the words to scream out for healing. As I reflect on this motivational truth comes to mind. True sophistication begins in the mind. Well-crafted, intentional choices lead to fulfillment. In this way, we can choose to approach life with elegance. Sounds beautiful, right? Inspirational, and it's actually true. But you can ask me, so what? What about those moments of chaos when I barely recognize myself, let alone what lies ahead? How can I even think of elegance or sophistication in times like these? And you're right, you can't. But when I talk about elegance, I'm not referring to perfection. I'm talking about creating order, even in the smallest ways. To me, elegance is a timeless expression of who you truly are. It's about cultivating a refined mentality and appreciating the deeper aspects of life. Through this podcast, I aim to help you unlock your full potential so you can define and live your own meaning of success. Feel inspired, but don't try to mirror your life onto mine. Instead, write your own story, and I will help you choose the finest pen and paper to craft it. In each episode, I will guide you along this path, reminding you that true elegance is about aligning with your authentic self and making choices that lead to fulfillment. After all, alignment brings harmony, and harmony is an integral part of life. It's balance, and sometimes we really need to aim for balance. Now, in every episode, I intend to bring exercises or questions that will make you dive into critical thinking. It is fundamental to bring multiple lines of self-questioning along the way because it provides us with incredible insights and gives us a sense of progress. Remember, I am here to guide you, not give you the answers. So it's crucial to truly embark on the exercises with honesty. You don't need to share these answers with me, but if you feel that could be inspiring, then I would love to hear them. As we end our episode, I will leave you to reflect on 3 questions. 1. What does elegance mean to you? 2. How are you incorporating elegance into your daily life? And lastly, can you see yourself embodying elegance in action? Thank you, my Elegant Fellowship, for listening today. If this episode resonated with you, follow me on Instagram. You can find the link in the podcast description. There, I'll share additional resources, visual guides, and tools to help you along your journey. I would also love to hear your insights and reflections and discover how I am contributing to your life. In future episodes, we'll dive deeper into self-awareness, healing communication, and relationship dynamics to help you cultivate a life of sophistication from the inside out. And remember, true elegance comes from living with alignment and purpose. In a world where the superficial is the norm, I invite you to be depth. My warmest welcome to Elegantia and Linea. See you next time and stay aligned. This is Elegantia and Linea, the podcast to help you unlock your full potential.